Hi everybody, Rob here from MTU's Blackrock Castle Observatory. And what I have for you today is a little bit of a tutorial on how to use a free program called Stellarium to search for your Messier object in the night sky. So as you know, if you registered an event for Space Week, we already sent you some resources including a unique photo of a Messier object captured by the team at MTU Blackrock Castle Observatory using the really big telescope we have up on the roof of the castle. So to get started, I'm going to show you how to use Stellarium. First off, you're going to need to go to stellarium.org and download the version of the program that's most appropriate to your machine. It's really not a very CPU intensive program. It's very, very easy to use. Most computers should be able to handle it. So we're going to minimize this screen so that we can launch the Stellarium screen. So as I'm recording this video here on September the 14th, 2023, this is what the sky looks like outside right now. So this thing operates in real time. You've got the sun up here, you've got your cardinal points, so you know to look south, southeast, southwest, and you can drag through the sky using your mouse to look for the other locations. Now there are a ton of shortcuts that I recommend that you learn over time, but just for the purpose of this video, to keep things easy on you, I'm going to use the mouse primarily to navigate. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to find this window over here. There's a search window and there's a time and date window. So the time and date window is where I usually start. I pick the time and date that I want to investigate the sky for. So let's jump forward to Space Week here. So this is October and we'll jump to the 4th and let's make it dark by going to about 8 o'clock at night. So that's 9 o'clock. Jump forward and back. There we go. So this is what the night sky is going to look like at 8 o'clock on October 4th if you look due south. So you can see just over here the sun is starting to set, so it's getting pretty dark. You can see some really cool stars like Altair. You can also, as you can see, locate planets like Saturn. So before we get to your Messier object, I'll let you see how we can learn more about Saturn by clicking on it here. It tells you the type of the planet, the magnitude, that's how bright it looks in the night sky, its distance from the sun, all sorts of really complicated looking information over here. But if you then press the spacebar, it will center Saturn for you. And using either your mouse wheel to scroll up and down or using the page up and page down function on your keyboard, we can zoom in on Saturn for a better look. So that's pretty cool, right? Now you can do this without pressing on spacebar, but if you do, Saturn's going to keep moving through the night sky like that on you, and you'll have to keep chasing it. So don't forget to press spacebar first. So we're going to zoom back out now and have a look for a few other options to explore in the night sky. So as I mentioned, you can drag through the night sky like this to see what's available in the north. And obviously there's that constellation that we're all very familiar with, or rather I should say asterism, that's a part of a constellation, Big Dipper. So as I like to point out to people, you can use the Big Dipper to find the North Star. So if you follow the trail of the Big Dipper starting here, well, it looks like a saucepan. I think that's the easiest way to do this. So start in the handle of the saucepan, work your way into the saucepan and pull back that big bright star there. The first one that's very obvious in a straight line is Polaris. That's our North Star. And the reason it's the North Star, if I center that right there, is it's basically directly overhead. So I'm going to jump forward a little bit through the night. You can see the sky rotates along that point. So that stays above our head regardless. Now, so after getting a little bit darker, what we can see over here, which is actually pretty cool, is the Milky Way. Now you can see this better at other times of the year, but it's still pretty cool that you can see where the Milky Way is in the southwest. You won't be able to see this if you live in an area with a lot of light pollution. So you just have to be careful to not assume that everything you can see on the screen here is something that you'll be able to see in your backyard. It really will depend on the sky conditions where you are. But the main reason that we said we'd open this is to learn how to find your Messier object. So what we're going to do is open the search window over here. And you can see I've already been searching for a handful of Messier objects here. So the first one, just as an example, I'm going to search for is M101. And you can see this tells you what you've got over here. This is a pinwheel galaxy. So this is where it's located in the sky on October 4th. It's out here very close to the Big Dipper actually, where we were just searching. And as we zoom in on it, we get a better view of it. And you can see that beautiful pinwheel galaxy right there. Zoom back out again. And don't forget, you can also use that functionality, the search functionality, to find things like planets as well, or particular constellations, which I'll get to in just a moment. So let's look for another one. Let's look for M13, we'll say. So M13 is in a particularly cool constellation. So if I press the letter C, or if you come down here to the constellation options, you can press constellation lines, and it shows you the shapes of the constellations. Even better, you can press or constellation art, and it will show you an image of the constellation. So what you're seeing here, upside down, is poor old Hercules here fighting with the monster Draco. And within that constellation, I'm just going to get rid of that art again, is the M13 we're looking for. So let's see what that is. And that's a great star cluster. It's a big, beautiful globular cluster, a densely packed area full of stars. It's really, really cool to look at. So our next and final object that we're going to look at as an example, let's see if we can find M51. I like M51 because there's a lovely Irish connection to it. So as you may or may not know, Ireland used to host the largest telescope in the world in Burcastle. It's still there to this day, the Leviathan, but bigger telescopes have been built since. And this object here was seen by the Leviathan. Now, before, at the time it was captured and viewed, we didn't know that spiral galaxies like this were a thing. We thought it was a spiral nebula, kind of a gassy area full of the gases that make up stars. And it's sometimes called the question mark nebula. It's got a lot of different names, but it's also called Ross's galaxy. It's called Ross's galaxy after the third Earl of Ross. He's the person who built the telescope up in Burcastle. So I just think that's a really neat link to Ireland with this particular object. So it's a really cool one to go looking for in the night sky. So like I said, you can use this program to do all kinds of cool activities and to predict what might be visible in the night sky when you're heading out to do some observing yourself. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions about it at all, you can always mail the Space Week team and we'll be more than happy to help out. That said, thank you for tuning in today. I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial and that you have a lot of fun with Stellarium, and I hope you enjoy the rest of Space Week. Thank you and goodbye.